Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Ted Betancourt. I'd like to call the regular school committee meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, and we are beginning our meeting tonight at 7:03 p.m. here at our usual location at the Higgins Middle School Library at 85 Perkins Street. As always, our meetings are being broadcast live on Peabody TV. The minutes from the meeting tonight will be taken by our recording secretary, Laura Bowe, and anybody that would like to join us here in the audience or later or remotely through our social media abilities, we can bring you in during the public participation period of our agenda. So with that, we have some great presentations tonight, but I wanted to first start off our meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could please stand and join me in a moment of silence. And then I'm going to ask our Welch School students that are here today to come forward and assist me in the Pledge of Allegiance. So thank you. Thank you. The Welch School students.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. And if there's no objection from the committee, I'd like to go out of order a little bit today and go right to our student presentation from the Welch Elementary School, and I'd like to turn over to Dr. Vidala, but everybody's okay with doing that? Thank you. Dr. Vidala?
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we are very happy to have the Welch School here today to do a presentation for us. The snow prevented us from February 24th, but we are back here and we are ready to go. So what I'd like to do is call the students up, and we have Ms. Massa and Mr. McLaughlin here as well. They have a great presentation and some of the highlights that they have to share with you that align with our goals that you've heard. So we're very excited to have our students, and thank you to the parents for being here as well.
But now this is all them. They just designed it, dedicated it, and now this is all for you per the Welch School. Take it away.
This year is the Welch. To share. Who's next? Okay.
Hi, I'm Mila Hidadak. I'm mayor of room 22. One of my goals for this year is everyone's voice should be heard.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn, and I'm the mayor of room 23 at the Welch School. My goals for this year are more PJ days, no more bullying, and kindness throughout the school.
Hello, my name is Miladies Hernandez, and I am mayor of Room 24. A goal I have for this year is making sure students are respected and safe at Welch School.
First, I will tell you about this fantastic poster. When Miss Massa showed us the Be the Reason Someone Belongs campaign from Desi, we thought we needed to make this poster our own. So we did exactly that. We put our own spice and style on it, and that's what makes the Welch special. We are all different at the Welch School. On this QR code, we have the counseling checking form, where we help and encourage students to request for help if needed. We also have the bullying prevention form that helps families find resources on how to help their children if they are being bullied. Lastly, we have the Trusted Adult Forum, where at the beginning of the school year, counselors went to every classroom and had students complete an activity where they filled out their trusted adults in the building.
From the poster, we decided to keep going with the idea of making sure all students felt included. The student government came up with a plan to go into all the classrooms and do a presentation on Be the Reason Someone Belongs. We explained what it meant to include people at school and go out of your way to be kind and make sure everyone feels welcomed. After the presentation in each class, the student government split the students up and asked small groups these 4 important questions to learn how they feel about the Welch School. We thought that the other students would answer truthfully because they're being asked by another student. Going into the classroom, we felt confident that there would be positive answers because the Welch School is a place where everyone is accepted.
Based on the data we collected, for example, question 3 is asking students how they feel about Welch. Grades K1 and 2 reported that students usually feel very nice to each other. Grades 3, 4, and 5 were in between, feeling like kids are okay and usually very nice to each other. Students also reported liking school mainly because they loved their teachers and friends. We sat down and thought about it, why the older grades may have lower answers, and came to the conclusion that the reason the answers are a little lower is because the academic requirements got harder. So the students started taking it out on their peers, which has affected all of them academically and socially, which is why we had the idea to make sure everyone has a trusted adult and friend at Welch School.
On this slide, I'll talk about things that we're starting to implant that the student government came up with to improve our school. First, in the emotional category, we want to have monthly kindness assemblies where we'll talk about how kids can manage their feelings and coping skills. Next, in the social category, we're talking about recess role models. For recess role models, we are going to help kids that have no one to play with at recess. Another category is academic. For academic, we're going to do study buddies to help the kids that are stuck on Lexia or ST Math, which are 2 academic websites. The last category talked about today is advocacy, which makes sure that all students can find a trusted adult and know that they can talk to that person if they have problems at school or at home, which 98% of students were able to find at least one trusted adult in September of 2026.
On this slide, we're going to be talking about our school's glows and grows. For social emotional glows, we have Wayfinder. Wayfinder is an app that helps kids learn social emotional skills while making it fun. The Welch School also does lunch bunches. At lunch, a lunch bunch is a way we help kids who might struggle making friends or need social emotional help. Another thing we do to help our school is check-ins and support, where one of our counselors spent time with a student that is struggling, then check in and make sure they are safe and support them. The last thing we do in our school is buddy benches. On our playground, we have a bench that you sit on if you need a buddy to play with, and students will come over and invite them to play. Things we want to grow at the Welch School would be having an everyday therapy dog. When Ella comes to our school, we can see how much she brightens students and help them open up. We partner with Perfect Paws, who come every Monday, but would love to have a full-time therapy dog at our disposal. Also, recess role models and peer mentoring, where older students could join younger recesses and lunch bunches and teach them through modeling good behavior and friendship.
At the Welch School, we use programs like Lexia and STMath to help us practice reading and math. We use these programs at the school and at home. We also have Springboard, which is a tutoring program that helps students get better at reading. In class, teachers use centers and project-based learning. One lesson I really liked was a math project where we worked in groups of 4 to design our own playground. We had to use area to plan the playground. We made posters and presented them to the class. Everyone had different ideas, like rock walls and trampolines. The project helped us learn math while using our imagination. One area that we think we can grow in is by starting study buddies. Our idea for this would take place in the morning before school. It can take place in the library. In this program, older students can help younger students with projects or programs like STMath or Lexia that the students may need help with. This is one idea that we have planned to improve the already amazing Welch School.
The biggest impact on the Welch School is the teachers. Teachers are the main reason why students show up to school every day and want to learn. Students learn best from people that they connect with, and teachers are at the Welch School go above and beyond to make sure they have relationships with their students. Each student government member highlighted what makes teachers at the Welch School so special. I learn best from teachers who remind me that I can do hard things.
I work best with teachers who see my potential.
I can be my real self with my teachers.
I learn best from teachers that make the classroom fun and more comfortable.
My favorite teachers are ones that allow me to express myself and help me feel seen and like I belong.
I connect best with teachers at Welch who push me to my limits and keep me in check. Great teachers are a direct result of a great principal, and we are so lucky to have Miss Massa.
So we'd love to open the floor for questions, but we always invite you all, please come to the Welch and visit us, because that's where we showcase our best work.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll open it up. I want to thank all of you. You each did a tremendous job, very well spoken. You put a lot of work into that presentation. It was great to hear a little bit about the Welch School. I was just there last week. I met a number of you. I know some of us were there as well. And you do feel it as soon as you walk in the building. From Mrs. Massa, Mr. McLaughlin, the teachers, staff, but in particular the students. You do feel a sense of warmth and kindness in that school. And I really want to thank all of you. You're all making a difference. It's been a hard road over at the school because of the construction work we did, and I think that probably brought all of you even together even a little bit more. But I really feel really a wonderful sense in that school, and that's a credit to all of you. So thank you for that. Any questions or comments from our committee members? Mrs. Dunn? Yeah.
I am just so impressed with the work that you all did on this presentation, but also the work you're doing at the school. Took a ton of notes about what you're doing. You have a website, you did that survey and then looked into how to make things better for your classmates and for the whole culture at the school. Your student government
Very well said, Mrs. Dunn. Mrs. Dunn was a Welch School parent. 4 children went through the Welch School. I know she cares deeply for the Welch. Any other comments or questions by any of the members? Mrs. Carpenter?
Thank you. Thank you all for coming here and all of your family taking the time to come here. You were so impressive. Mrs. Dunn is right. This is one of the best presentations we have seen. And I want you to know that everything that you presented tonight is so important, and we're so thankful that you're doing it. It's very much needed. And I hope to see you here again year after year, coming through the system and sharing this as you go through all of your years in Peabody, because you're exactly what we need. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. Mr. Amico?
That was outstanding. That was as good as a presentation as we've had from an elementary school. So congratulations. Some of those powerful key words that you mentioned, respect, inclusion, voice, kindness, all different. Remember those words, because they're going to be so important, especially when you get older, and especially when you're part of the community. I think a lot of adults can learn from you right now, because there are a lot of people out there in the world that don't really use these words like you did. So you're so impressive. And as Ms. Carpenter said, we want to see you again in the middle school, and when you become high school students, we want you here and being part of this community, because you're definitely leaders. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Amico. Mrs. Millman?
Hello. I met quite a few of you when I was over at the Welch, and it's wonderful to see you again. You're very impressive. Well done. Well done, parents. Well done. Very impressive, very well spoken. As much as your presentation was wonderful, like everyone said, the fact is I heard a lot of this when I spoke to you, and it really came from the heart. You actually didn't need to read anything. You all told this to me as we were talking about your school, and so I know it's really what you believe in. It's really part of kind of the way you see things at your school, which is fantastic. I have one question. I did see something about a therapy dog and your desire to have a therapy dog. Have you looked into that and how to get that?
Miss Massa wants her dog to be our full-time therapy dog.
We'll have to talk about that, Mrs. Maslow. Yeah.
Slightly.
I'm open for discussion.
Thank you, Ms. Millman. Any other comments or questions? Dr. Vidala, can we? Yeah.
Sure, I'll just quickly wrap it up. The adults here are very much in support of all that you do. We're very proud of what you've done. Every year we set goals. I was really excited to hear the goals that you've all set for yourselves. And we set goals for the district, but it was really nice to see that all of your goals align with what we were hoping for this year. And, you know, I think you hear it a lot from Ms. Massa. We do things the Welch way at the Welch School, and you took our ideas for some of the goals that we had around trusted adult and be the reason someone belongs, and you really made it the Welch specific way. You made it very different and very unique, and we appreciate that. So we usually come around and take a photo with you, and I think, you know, Mayor Betancourt inspired me a little bit, and you've inspired me with your presentation to do things a little differently. So what I'd like to do is put up your presentation again, and instead of coming around and taking pictures and having all the parents have to squeeze back here, I'd like you to come forward, and Mayor Betancourt and I will pull this out, and we'll take a picture with you in front, and our parents can come in front. We can take a picture with the big Welch sign in the back. And the parents, please come around.
All-female student government.
All-female student government. Take it over.
Elected officials. Girl power. We also would love it if you would take the opportunity, when you get home, in your spare time, to take a quick picture of our QR code on Be the Reason Someone Belongs, because it is all dedicated to elementary-centric pieces to the puzzle that Desi started at the middle school and high school level. We just kind of made it into a more elementary focus for us. So if you have an opportunity for Be the Reason Someone Belongs, take a moment to check out our QR code for that as well.
Great. Excellent.
Yep. We have posters all up throughout the Welch. So again, once you come and visit, you can always check us out there too. Thank you all for having us. We really appreciate it.
Great job, Welch.
Thank you.
All right, that was terrific. A great way to start a meeting. If there's no objection, I'd like to stay a little bit off the agenda, and I'd like to go. We have some of our student leaders from Peabody Veterans Memorial High School that we'd love to hear from. So if there's no objection, we can bring our high school students. Catherine, everybody come on in.
All right, tough act to follow for our high school students, but I know they're up for the challenge. All right, thank you, Ms. Barkley, for being here, and thank you to our student advisory group, and I'll let you take it away. Angie, Catherine.
All right, who wants to go first?
Hi, I'm Angie from class of 2029.
I am Catherine Kresma from the class of 2026.
I am Ed and Alec from the class of 2028.
And I'm Adam Mashidi from the class of 2026.
Tonight we will tell you about the highlights and going-ons at Peabody High School, items to follow up on from the last meeting, looking at priorities for this school year and beyond. Some highlights are students are successfully completed the midterm exams and are midway through third quarter. 31 Peabody High School students attended the DECA district in January, and 3 students qualified for the state competition in Boston next week. Seniors Matthew Gomes and Alana Rosa earned 3rd place in buying and merchandising team decision making, and Adam, right there, earned 4th place in professional selling, and College Board named Peabody High School to the AP School Honor Roll.
Some more highlights. Advisors began using Wayfinder as an SEL resource in February. Seniors Ryan Texiari and Isabella Pereira were selected as co-managers of cosmetology. PVMHS trained new students as peer mediators in January and February. And the Safe Promise Club created and promoted their February kindness calendar with a challenge for each day of the month. NHS and Boston Children's Hospital hosted a successful blood drive at PVMHS on February 5th. PVMHS hosted a showcase night on February 12th for the community. Both the wrestling and girls track and field teams earned the title of NEC champs. Graphic design senior Sandy Smith's design was chosen for the 2026-2027 PVMHS Program of Studies cover page.
More highlights. On February 8th, the PVMHS Concert Choir collaborated with the Salem High School Choir and the Salem Philharmonic Orchestra to present a free concert a free concert of Vivaldi's Gloria. The National Honor Society partnered with Boston Children's Hospital to create a stuffed animal drive, and PVMHS students and teachers participated in instructional rounds on February 12th. 4 digital photography students, Susie LeCain, Sandy Smith, Carly O'Connor, and Diego Tejeda, were selected to participate in the Marblehead Arts Association 2026 through the Students' Lens Photography Exhibition. The PVMHS gymnastics team won the Team Spirit Award in their division. The Student Health Center and YAC, the Youth Advisory Council, sponsored the 2nd year of Black Balloon Day on March 6th to raise awareness for student substance use and remember the lives lost to addiction. On March 6th, the Social Studies Department had guest speaker Claude Quetier, a survivor of the Rwandan genocide, meet and present to students. The Stage 1 Drama Club made it to the state semifinals of Drama Fest. They will present their production, A View from the Bridge, in the semifinals round at Saugus High School on Saturday, March 14th at 3:30 p.m. The junior prom will take place this Thursday at the Danversport Yacht Club.
Items to follow up on. Thank you for the school committee, you guys, and the Peabody Education Foundation for approving the Recycle Percussion Kindness and Anti-Bullying Assembly. The students loved it. They had a great time. I saw tons of videos online, and it was like kind of like the talk of the town for a little bit. And we're following up on the plan to improve student bathrooms at PVMHS, such as automatic air fresheners for each bathroom, and just more upkeep around the bathrooms. Although we spoke to Ms. Randall and there were no reported incidents, we heard about concerns by students and teachers that there wasn't enough time for the custodial staff to treat the ice and snow when we had those blizzards that came in and ruined our time. And we were just wondering if substitute bus drivers know set routes that they go to, because there's been some talk that substitute bus drivers are having difficulty going to the correct routes and going to the correct bus stops and even getting to school on time. And can we look at the format for how it's determined on who gets into sporting events for free and who has to pay? And questions or concerns?
So on that one, can I ask you to just explain to us what you believe is currently happening and how the committee can support you for the last question that you had about sporting events?
Yeah. For example, students, if you show a student ID, supposedly getting free, but teachers who work in the building do not. Students get in for free with their student ID, but teachers that work at the school and have worked with the school sometimes get in for free. It's a very shaky process, and we just thought having a set foundation to build a nice little house on could help our athletics department make more in revenue, A, and B, get more like hype around sports in general. And so creating a set list, re-looking at who can get in for free, who can get in for discounts, how many people, how much they have to pay, creating that nice foundation could keep a nice like lay down for the athletics department in the future, because it's becoming a little.
People that pay the Boosters Club get in for free too.
Yeah, and people who pay the boosters also get in for free. So having like a set foundation around that could create a lot more like communication between the athletic department and the town itself. So, well, the city itself. And so it would create a smoother transition for the athletic department and the city.
Yeah, I think those are good suggestions. I know that there are some categories of people that do get in free. At least I thought we took this up some years back. Maybe we need to review it. But certainly students, I thought there were some parents and family members, people over 65. Veterans. But yeah, teachers, yeah, I think there's something, maybe we can review that, that policy. Mrs. Dunn, did you want to comment on it?
Just another piece of information, that often there are confusing situations between our own school sporting events and then an MIAA sporting event. That I know is always creating confusion, so it wouldn't be bad to look at it again and to reiterate what we had decided, because it was actually very delineated on who would get in for free and the process and everything. So I just need to re-inform people of that, and also just to see if it's possible.
And we also thought about that too, because for the MIAA playoffs, when we were in the playoffs for football, they often charge when I went, it was $7 for everybody to get in. And then there was set discounts based off of like if you were over 65. But if we create a foundation just for the sports game itself, then we could tack it on to what the MIAA wants and then kind of kill two birds with one stone with that. So if we set like that foundation, then it could be applied throughout the MIAA too.
From our experience when we went through this previously, MIAA is an entity into itself. So we could only control what we do with Peabody and not with MIAA. So that's, as I said, that's where the difficulty comes.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Dunn. That was very political because I know you have a lot of thoughts about the MIAA that you would love to share. No, but I think it's a good idea to review the policy. I wish there was some people we could charge double. Like there'd be some people, yeah, people from the towns we're playing maybe. Nah, Salem's all right. Maybe like Marblehead. Marblehead should pay double.
I mean, with the foundation, you can do whatever you want, I guess.
Ms. Millman.
Thank you. Through the chair to Dr. Vidala, could we, and I think Ms. Dunn might have it as well, could we get that policy and let's put it on the next agenda and let's take care of that for Catherine? How's that? Although, as Ms. Dunn said, the MIAA is definitely something that we really can't handle.
Yeah.
I'll use that word, but we'll take care of everything else. We'll make sure that it's fair and equitable for teachers and whoever else we can get into events, because we want big crowds, right?
Yeah.
And we want to have fun.
Who doesn't want some school spirit, you know?
Exactly. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Miko. Ms. Millman?
So that's somewhat of what I was going to say. If we can bring that policy, whatever it may be, forward so that we can have some true discussion on that. And then I guess I would add to that where does performing arts events fall into that as well? Because those are ticket prices that I'm sure also people are relative to who gets in for free and who doesn't and whatnot. So we can look at both of those inclusively.
Just picking your brain individually, Ms. Millman. I was just wondering what you think that should it be a universal policy for all of those ticket priced events, or do you think that it should be based off of how much revenue the sport makes? Is it more like having one universal thing, or would you something more flexible and elastic?
I'm glad you asked. And what I would say is the first thing I want to do is see what is currently in existence, because I hear words about policies that may be in existence, or maybe they're actually not and we just thought they were. So I'm going to hold from a true answer, but say, well, it depends. Let's see where we're at first, so we do the research on it, and then we can have the discussion, which I do think that you folks should be part of.
Thank you. Mr. Olympio?
Yes, so were there students that weren't picked up at all as far as with the snow? I mean, has there been a uptick in bus drivers calling out sick, or does anybody?
Yeah, my friend said that she was standing at her bus stop, and it was 10 minutes past when the bus was supposed to get there, and it just didn't show up, and so her mom had to drive her to school that day.
And buses are going in the opposite direction, so they're going from the end to the beginning. That's what one of my advisory students said.
Yeah, a bunch of students have been speaking out about their personal experiences with, it's not so much the bus drivers calling out, it's just when it does happen, there are some complications in between the communication between the substitute bus driver and the current route that's there.
Has it been just strictly with the bad weather?
No. It has been, from what I've seen, mostly universal, based off of when there is a substitute bus driver. But I don't think the weather has anything affect.
Okay.
That's a completely separate thing, because the weather was kind of an unexpected factor in all of this. But it could be affected by the weather. But this is an overall occurrence that is happening.
So we need.
Great, thank you for bringing this up. Dr. Higgins and I have a meeting tomorrow with our transportation director, and we'll add this to the agenda, and we'll bring it back to you guys at the next time you meet. Thank you.
Excellent job as always. Thank you very much for being here and sharing with us what's taking place. It is really helpful to us, so thank you. Great job.
Thank you as always for having
Before
me.
we break, Mr. Dunn, do you have a question for them?
I did. I was really happy that you brought up about the AP honor roll, with PVMHS being on that. That is a really nice thing to hear about, because for many years now, PVMHS has been recognized for the AP program. So to hear that we're on the honor roll, that is nice to know. Thank you.
And I think it's on the up and up too. There's tons of AP classes out there that we could obtain too, and already having all of this wide selection is just it really helps out our students get ready for their majors in college if they want to move on through that career path. But also it gives them a good challenge. I know Ed, and how many APs are you in?
I'm doing one this year, and I had 2 last year as a freshman.
Yeah, and I'm also in an AP, and he takes like 7 of them. So he is what we call an academic weapon. He's great at APs. I don't know what it is about it. He is a weapon.
Don't quote me on this, but I remember Ms. Randall talking about PVMHS having the most AP offerings out of any school in the North Shore.
Yep.
So,
One time it was the most in the state.
and one time the most in the state. So of course, it's great. We're a great school for AP kids if they want to take courses.
And it doesn't stop there. We're going up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're adding 2 this next year.
Yeah.
I remember. I'm sure Ms. Reynolds talked about that with you all before.
Yeah.
Terrific. We have Student Government Day on March 19th.
I'm really excited.
We have about 60 juniors and seniors that are going to be shadowing their counterparts. Catherine is the city solicitor. You in it, Adam? You know?
Yeah, I'm the principal.
Oh, okay. You have both very important roles. That's terrific. So congratulations to you both. That's going to be a wonderful day. I know all of us are looking forward to that every year. So terrific. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so I think we'd like to continue with the presentations. Again, if there's no objection, I'd like to continue out of order. Stay with the superintendent's report, item 4. Let's go to item C, or number 3, Peabody Promise. We have a number of our committee members, Maria Sherry, John Swanson, Sarah Grinnell. Please come on up. And before I turn it over to you, I just want to thank the 3 of you and so many other people that have been a part of Peabody Promise for the last several months, working through a number of tough issues and coming up with improvements that our city needed to make. And I really feel like we've taken some good strides. A lot more to do, but I thought this was a great opportunity. The school committee has been very supportive and wanted to kind of get an update as to where things stand and where we're going from here. So with that, I'll turn it over to Maria, Sarah, John. Take it away.
Thank you very much. So my name is Sarah Grinnell. I'm the director of our Division of Social Services with the city. I know many of you here, but hello to the new faces in the crowd for me. I am one of the co-chairs of the Peabody Promise team, and we are going to present some data on some different initiatives that have been happening since, I would say, July of this past year. So you'll see up on the screen, we had a logo contest, and the reason that we held that logo contest is we opened the new Student Resource and Support Center here at the Higgins. The Student Resource and Support Center is a place where students can go to receive mental health care on an ongoing basis through their schools. So we have 2 full-time clinicians, and then in additional, we have 2 full-time clinicians through Advocates and 1 through Embrace Pathways. So we do have 3 clinicians now just dedicated to the Higgins. The logo contest was kind of twofold. We needed a logo for the Student Resource and Support Center. It's the SRSC, just so I don't have to keep saying it. And we also wanted to promote the SRSC to the students. So, you know, Dr. Vidala and Mr. Busey and the administration and the teachers did a great job getting the word out to the students and the parents, but we really, you know, with Peabody Promise, we wanted to make sure everybody knew. So we thought by having a logo contest, it would really get the word out there to the students and to the families. We had over 50 submissions. We worked very closely with Mr. Lampkin. He was a huge asset to us and Dr. Higgins to get the logo contest done. So we, as I said, we received over 50 submissions. We had to pick one winning logo, which was very difficult, and then we had 6 runner-ups as well. So you can see the students there. The logo winner not only has her logo as the SRSC logo, but she also received a $100 gift card that was from the Henry Breckenridge Charitable Foundation. And then the mayor kindly provided $50 gift cards to all the runners-up. So it was a great day. You know, the students did a wonderful job. I'm currently going to be working with Mr. Lampkin to do something with the rest of the artwork, because we had some really, really, really great submissions. Not all of them worked as a logo, but they'd be great, you know, artwork to have up either in the schools or in the SRSC themselves. So So now we can talk about some of the numbers. I think you can see a little bit of a jump. So in January alone, we had planned on presenting in February, so that's why we're presenting up through January. We had 123 counseling sessions, 12 drop-in sessions, and we now have 11 students on the wait list. I just want to note that the 11 students on the wait list were all new as of January, and they are able to be seen during drop-in hours. They're just not able to have a set time. You know, for instance, every Monday at 1 o'clock, they have to come during drop-in time. And so that does speak to the fact the logo contest wrapped up, I think it was January 14th. We gave them a little bit of an extension, and it really did help get the word out, because you can see, you know, leading up to January, on average, we had about 88 or so counseling sessions per month, 476 total from the beginning of the school year. So there was a significant jump in January. As well, we have unique students, number of unique students served per month: September 16, October 24, November 38, December 40, and January 38. And then Embrace Pathways has one dedicated clinician that's at the school as well, and that clinician is seeing 27 students on a weekly basis. So we're serving, you know, a large number, and it's increased significantly from last year as well. You may wonder, you know, during the school breaks and whatnot, what happens with the students. So they're either able to meet with students via telehealth, local offices, through FKO. They make arrangements with the students, so there's not a gap in services during those breaks. We also have, I always get this wrong, through advocates, and Embrace Pathways, we have clinicians in all of the elementary schools, and then the PVMHS Student Health Center has service providers as well. So our district-wide numbers, which are non-inclusive of PVMHS, we have 101 students served last month in January. This is inclusive of the Higgins numbers I just presented. 293 counseling sessions, 14 total students on the wait list, so that would be 11 at Higgins and 3 at South. Unique students served this school year. You can see the numbers are you know, steadily going up: 68, 79, 113, 105, and 101. You know, we do expect, as people have a set schedule, the unique students won't necessarily have ongoing care, but as people are discharged and more people are taking in, we'll see those numbers change a little bit. So we've had a total of 1,300, a little over 1,300 counseling sessions, which is amazing. The fact that we're able to provide this to the students really speaks volumes to the support of the city and the schools, and I know that the students are very grateful for that.
And one thing I'll just add to the numbers that Sarah has done, these are all in addition to our current guidance counselors and current school counselors and the students that they're seeing. So all of the students that are on the wait list have been prioritized by our school counselors to make sure that they're seeing them so that their needs are being met, and then hopefully we'll be able to make a referral to get them off the wait list so they have a regular standing meeting. So these students are not falling through the cracks. They've been identified, and we're prioritizing them with our staff and hoping that we can add additional to that. And we're working very closely with Embrace Pathways and advocates who have been wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's great. So we have the 2 clinicians at the Higgins through advocates, 1 through Embrace Pathways, and then we have 2 dedicated clinicians through advocates that travel to our elementary schools. When the health center up the high school is fully staffed, they have 2 clinicians there as well. So we have a pretty robust service delivery to the students.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. I'm going to be touching base on several of our action teams that have been put together and have been working through over the last several months as part of the Peabody Promise, starting with the curriculum and training action team that is led by Kelly Grimmer, and they were put forth with evaluating a list of our SEL curriculum that we want to be implementing and introducing to the school system. The curriculum and action team was comprised of residents as well as current and former staff members throughout the district. They came through and spent many weeks evaluating several different curriculum, very intent on, does it carry forward from kindergarten through the 12th grade? Does it include social emotional learning as well as a bullying component? They narrowed this down to Wayfinder. As previously mentioned in the school committee meetings, it was rolled out to the staff on January 16th. In that way, developed 26 Wayfinder helpers to support that. And over the, as of February 13th, again, we were prepared to present in the February school committee meeting. There was 461 active teachers using it, about 5,500 students participating in activities, 8,300 educators using the system through active use, and there's about 3,200 students engaged in the platform, totaling out of 16,214 total lessons and activities completed. That is lessons and activities, so it's our teachers and our staff looking at the Wayfinder, planning on how they want to implement it, as well as students that have been using it on a regular basis. As a side, I go to one of the elementary schools on a weekly basis. I was having a conversation with the 4th grade class that I read to, and one of the students brought forward a lesson they learned in Wayfinder without being prompted. So, me being me, I spun off and started to have conversations about the implementation of Wayfinder with both the teacher and the students, and straightforward, open conversation, they loved it. They liked the lesson plan, they liked what they're learning, and based on that prompt that was, that comment that was not prompted, they're taking these lessons to heart, which is ultimately what we want to help develop and improve our student base and ensure that they have the empathy and the thought process to be better students and ultimately better humans. So kudos that this was a great find. It was rolled out and it's in its trial phase right now. The plans will be developed and rolled out for next year as they understand Wayfinder and curriculum, but this initial implementation has been very successful in my eyes, and the feedback that I've gotten, so congratulations on that. Jumping to bullying data, again, as of the mid-February, there were 59 bullying allegations. Those are bullying reported to the district. 16 of those allegations have been substantiated. 5 bullying allegations are currently being investigated. So that is throughout our whole district, both through elementary through high school. To build on that, one of the aspects that the Peabody premise developed was a behavioral assessment team, behavior assessment team, sorry, for the Higgins. There is one similar up at the high school where they're evaluating students, being present for the students and looking at trends at the high school, but we didn't have one at the middle school previously. So the mayor put forth that this would be implemented. It's comprised of a district administrator, Higgins administrator, the school resource officer, 2 student counselors, the nurse, and teachers that participate in this team, and they meet weekly throughout the school year. They're focusing on data review, building capacity, and examining resources, policies, and practices, ensuring that the Higgins School has what it needs to be addressing the bullying and supporting our students through both support for the targets as well as those that are being the aggressors. They meet regularly to consult and provide feedback on the bullying allegations, the safety plans, and investigations. So as allegations progress through, they are able to provide their input for those allegations and safety plans that are there. And then ultimately, they're providing after-action reviews on any bullying, behavioral threats, and behavior and threat assessments that have been made by the team, and then always trying to improve their process and the support they're providing our students. I'm gonna skip down to the data at the Higgins. So again, by mid-February, 17 of those 59 allegations for bullying were made at the Higgins. 5 of the 16 allegations being substantiated were at the Higgins, and 4 of the 5 current, as of February, allegations being investigated were at the Higgins. So there's a proportion there that I'm sure the district will be looking at. You all know that the Higgins and the middle school is a place that the students are going through a lot of change, so it's why we need these resources in place and why those teams are diving in and evaluating the current policies, procedures, and as well as what is going on with the students at the school. So the next slide I'm going to go over is curriculum policies and procedures. So there is both Wayfinder here as well as some of the policies that we reviewed. This is because as teams are progressing and completing their initial tasks, we're blending different action teams together. We're going to be splitting them apart for new priorities as we identify them. So The curriculum policy and procedure team was come about by the combination of curriculum and training and the policies and procedures team. So Kelly and I both lead this team. We reviewed the district's current bullying policy. That was the one that is published currently on the website and we had access to. Made some recommendations and wrote up, the team spent several weeks writing up a new proposal for a bullying policy and have submitted it to the school committee. It's currently under review by the Quality and Standards Subcommittee. And I know it's been read out once and be making its way through the process. And again, as you can see here, the summary of what Kelly and her team did through the curriculum, vetting out the SEL curriculums and made the recommendations for Wayfinder that it was there. So that is what I got.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Sherry. It's nice to see you all. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the ways that we are promoting the resources, new resources through Peabody Promise. And one of our new resources is the Bloom app. So this is a free resource for all Peabody residents. And it includes a variety of resources for mental health, personal well-being, parenting and elder care. There's workshops, videos, all kinds of information on there. They even have access to mental health crisis lines and things like that. The link to sign up is on the Peabody Promise website. We also, when we're out in the community promoting our resources, we have flyers available with the QR codes, and they're in multiple languages, Spanish, English, and Portuguese. So as you can see, we have about 124 people signed up right now. So we're really looking to folks like you who are in the community and you have constituents and people in the community that might benefit from this resource to please go out and share it and post it on your Facebook pages or wherever you can. That and along with our other resources that we have that I'll talk about in a minute, which includes the Peabody Promise newsletter. So this is a new communication tool that we have. It's a monthly newsletter. We've had 5 issues come out so far. We have 200 people who have subscribed. I believe all of you, I actually ensured that you were all signed up. If you haven't seen it, I've been seeing some of the Peabody public extensions come back as bounce back. So if you haven't seen it, maybe you could sign up with a personal email account or another account, please. So when you see this come through, it would be really great if, again, you could share it on the ward page. I'd love to have the elected officials, the city councilors, put it on their ward pages, really just to help us get the word out. Trying to put, all the good content for, as you can see, this one had the logo contest and doing some spotlights about some good things that are going on in our community. Like I'm going to start a kindness corner, just so we can highlight, all the good stuff and the resources and, bring some benefit to people. But this is not everybody goes on Facebook. Not everybody reads their emails as much as we would like them to. So really hoping to build a community through this newsletter. So if you could please help, that would be great. I believe I don't know if it was the last school committee meeting, Ms. Cox, I think maybe you brought up the QR codes. So we have, Hillary did a great job working with Brian in our tech department to make sure we have all these shareable QR codes, which were also in the newsletter. And we have this brand new, if I may. We have flyers here for everybody, too, if you want to take them. All the QR codes are at the bottom. We have the bullying report form, the SRSC drop-in form, the website, and the newsletter subscriber link, just to make things easier for people to access this information. And next slide. So again, just trying to get out into the community and making sure that, we're such a big city, and just trying to make sure that people are aware that we do have these new resources. We've been doing table events. So we've done, school in city sponsored events. So things like the back to school night. In the fall, we're going to be doing the this month's parent orientation at Higgins in the high school. We were out at Nightmare on Main Street, the Brooksby Farm Fall Fest, Fire at the Farm. So just places where people can come to the table and learn about the resources, sign up for the newsletter. And, you know, we're having some really great conversations. Actually, one of them, someone on our team, you can see Jessie in the donut up in the top right corner, and Ted Neary there with her at the Main Street, the Nightmare on Main Street. And, you know, she came back with some feedback saying that she talked to a bunch of teenagers that were there, and they all go to Higgins, and they all knew about the SRSC. So that was some great feedback that we got there. So, and then, as you know, as the last group of high school students, we're talking about the Chaos and Kindness Assembly. So that was something that we had coordinated with Miss Randall and with help with PEF, and the students really appreciated that, and with, you know, with the message of being kind and anti-bullying. So, and then as far as our continued outreach, we are, Dr. Higgins and some other folks are planning our 2026 event calendar to increase our presence in the community and our outreach. So those probably will be more of trying to set tables up at the school-sponsored, you know, the sporting events, the performing arts events, just places where we can reach parents, and maybe some other events like sponsored by the city, where they're just really Peabody-centric, to promote all of these activities and the resources. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right, great. I want to thank each of you, Maria, Sarah, John. One for helping or being here tonight and presenting as you have, but just for the work that you've done over these last several months. I also wanted to point out a couple of other people that I wanted to mention as well, who have been driving forces behind the work we're doing. Hillary Gately, who you did mention, Maria, has been an important part of this when doing a great deal of the IT work, designing of the website, and a number of other things. Sharon Cameron, Dr. Vidala, and I did want to mention really the driving force behind our effort is Sally Rosario. John, you mentioned Kelly Grimmer, who's been terrific, and wanted to mention her and in particular Sally, who's the sister to Jason and has really been kind of the heart behind this, and I did want to mention her as well. We've been meeting every 2 to 3 weeks now for several months, and really pleased with the work we're doing. Very grateful for the people, and some are here today, some are on this committee that have been really helpful in looking at policies and doing a number of work behind the scenes. And I feel like we've made some real positive steps, but there's a lot more to do, and very grateful for the three of you stepping up as you have, so thank you for that, but a lot more to do. Open it up, questions, comments, Mr. Olympio?
Thank you all for coming here and really all the work that you do. And, you know, I look at those numbers and, you know, I had mixed emotions. I feel like one hand I'm grateful, the community's grateful, but then I'm sad. It kind of takes my breath away a little bit when I see those numbers. And the thing that kind of jumped out at me a little bit is the waiting list. Is that, like, how long is the waiting list, and what happens to those students that are on the waiting list? Are they anyway being attended to? If you could.
Yes, the students are being attended to in a couple of different ways. As Dr. Vidala said, that the school adjustment counselors and the guidance counselors prioritize those students. And those students are being seen by clinicians in the SRSC. They're just being seen on a drop-in basis. So they still do have that FaceTime, they just don't have a set appointment. So they are being seen, and it's being addressed as well.
Is the wait-in list, is it typically, I mean, you may not have the numbers, but is it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a month?
So they're being seen right away. The wait list was new as of January, so I don't have the updated numbers for February, so they may already have a set appointment at this time. So the clinicians are only able to see, you know, X number of students because of their caseloads and whatnot. And they'll make adjustments, seeing, you know, students bi-weekly rather than weekly, and that way they can get more students in as well. well. But I think it just speaks to the need, as you said, it's hard to see those numbers at the same time because the need is greater.
Yeah.
Now, we did double the amount of clinicians at the Higgins this year and the amount of effort, and they're already on a wait list as of January. So it just speaks to the need that's out there.
Oh, well, thank you. It's like my heart is warm at the same time, but then it breaks at the same time, if that makes any sense. But thank you all for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olympio. I'll open it up. Mrs. Cox.
Thank you so much. All of this work is so necessary. I did want to talk about the numbers a little bit more and just get some clarification on for when we're talking about having 59 students that have reported, and filled out the bullying form, and only a certain number of those have been found as a substantiated bullying case. Are we able to keep track of if there's repeat, like people being accused or repeat aggressors or repeat the people who are reporting that this is happening, so we can also get them, even though they're not essentially getting to the point of, yes, this is a bullying case that we're looking at. Those students might still need their resources and might still need support too, as if they are being repeatedly bullied, not using the term bullied because it's not being substantiated for them, but if there is concern that is affecting their day-to-day, their ability to access their academics, their ability to, show up to school confident and happy, are there ways that we can help track that and help support those students as well, not getting to the point of?
Yes, absolutely. Great question, and I can speak to that. So we do have, by going online and having that bullying reporting form, everything gets put into a spreadsheet. We're able to track that. One of the best parts about the process is that immediately, before a determination is even made, supportive measures are put in place. And so both students, the alleged target, the alleged aggressor, they're both immediately receiving and referred to for additional support. And so that's part of that investigation process. So we also are now able to track grade, school, so we do have, in some cases, the same student repeat, 3 and 4 times has had allegations of bullying against other students, and so we're able to really help provide that student with support and move in. And then if there's a student who's being targeted, we're able to do that. So it's very helpful to have that centralized location and then be able to analyze that data and push out supports to them.
Awesome, thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox. Ms. Millman?
So I have an easy question and then a little bit more. So I'm just going to start with one and hold off on the rest. Relative to the students that are attending and those numbers, Dr. Vidala, that you shared and you're talking about keeping a collection of, are we getting information of the referral source? In other words, kids that are self-referring and attending versus staff referring them to?
That information is being tracked. I'm not sure of the numbers because I don't have those in front of me tonight. That's certainly something we can get back to you, though.
That would be great. I'd be curious to know that and see how that effect is going. I think that would be helpful. I'm going to take a liberty at the moment because I was part of the task force that John led, Mr. Swanson led, and I became part of that task force prior to being elected as school committee. We had no less than 10 meetings since September, early September, and Ms. Dunn also, she attended 4 meetings, and a lot of us were there, and I know in the back there I'm going to call out Sophia Dixon and Scott Dixon as well were attendants, and there were other members as well, and it was well attended each meeting. And I think there's a couple of important things that I think we need to get to some of the granular levels. Part of the task force, in fact, what we were charged with was to review current policies and handbooks, ensure compliance and alignment with state laws and DESE regulation, make recommendations to the school committee as appropriate, and make recommendations for best practices. And I think each and every one of our meetings, that was our focus, to do that. And so one of the things that we found that we definitely knew actually already is that we were in compliance. This district has been in compliance with what we needed to have for policy and procedures. We've had committee policies and we've been in compliance in that regard. The difficulty we found was While we were in compliance in writing, we may not have been so in action. And what became very clear when we looked at a multitude, no less than 4, I would say, other districts as well as DESE's model policies and procedures, ours were very convoluted and not easily understandable. What we missed a little bit on the team that we repeatedly said on this task force is we didn't have any, we had some retired staff that came to some of the task force meetings, but we didn't have any current staff, teaching staff. We did have a security person that was part of our meeting, which was very helpful because when we talked about things like professional development and training for the entirety of the school employees, it was very clear that things were not done the way we expected or thought they were. In fact, we were told that people didn't have some of the training, and that was problematic. And I say this because I'm keeping Jason in mind. And I think I have the ethical and moral obligation to share some of the things that we found that are more concerning that I think we need to come out right and say and still work on doing better. So this group made some significant changes in some of the language and the things that we saw from the policy, which goes to our policy committee and still gets reviewed, and also from our bullying prevention and intervention plan, our BPIP, as well as the forms for our bullying reporting, investigating, and determination. And we have made recommendations and have provided them to Dr. Vidala and to Chairperson as well, so that they can be further reviewed for language, for clarity, for further compliance and understanding. Because it was very clear when we looked at a multitude of other districts, ours fell short in its understanding and certainly created confusion in implementation. And there was a lot of hard work and hours of work done. And I think that what's really important to know is we're still waiting for some of these things to get some further approval. These are just best practices. Some of them are policies that will be brought before school committee, and we're still waiting. There was a significant issue. We were fortunate to have both Dr. Higgins and Mr. Magno come to one of our meetings and talk about some of the investigations and our paperwork, and we made some comparisons of the paperwork that they shared with us and what was done and what's done in other districts and what we saw we were lacking. We also found that we were missing mandated placement of our bullying reporting forms to be had in the schools, in each and every school. And in fact, we found that there were some school districts that had them attached in school buses so that those reporting forms were there. So while this has been a culmination and a lot was done, it's not over. I think there's still a lot more to be done. And I think areas that fell short, completely fell short, and we were able to identify was an aspect of the training to the entirety of school employees that we had some concerns about that. The language and the usage of the form and how it's used with consistency, how it's reported, the translation of forms has continued to come up as well into multiple languages. So I am just so impressed and really happy to be part of this very hard-working team that Mr. Swanson led with great organization and structure. Thank you. But I will say that I do have concerns that it seems that we've talked about it as something that's done and completed, and I don't think most members of the team felt like it's done and completed, and we're still waiting to hear back and to see what our forms may end up looking like, because these were recommendations to look at these areas, and I believe that anybody that would want to come to the next meeting, whenever that may be, should come to see some of the work that's been done and continue. And if there are any questions about some of the things that we provided, for certainly I'm sure committee members that or the task force members would be willing to respond to things, because it was a lot of hard work over a long period of time, and I don't think we feel we've completed it. I think it's an ongoing process, and I think that small parts of it that are maybe easier do have to relate to the forms and the bullying prevention and intervention plan, and we're waiting kind of to hear back on that, and I don't think that's happened yet.
Thank you, Ms. Millman. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Mrs. Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you all for the work you've done. This presentation was excellent, and I'll be honest, when our meeting got postponed because of the snow, this was the one presentation I really felt badly that we couldn't hear it that night. The amount of outreach that you're doing is impressive, and I want to thank you for that. The work of the committees has been very important, and I've been privileged to work with Mr. Swanson on the subcommittee. It's been good work. It's been interesting. Unfortunately, because of some scheduling challenges that I spoke with Mr. Swanson about, I wasn't able to make all of the meetings, but I kept up with everything and did work through when assigned and what we needed to do. I will tell you that this is encouraging to know how many people are using the services. It's really sad, like Mr. Olympio said, it's a double-edged sword. We're happy that you're doing this, and it is sad to see how many people needed this, but thank goodness this is going through. Just wanted to thank you for all of this and really say you're doing a huge service to the community. I did have a question. Will you, the task force of the Peabody Promise, will you be at the resource fair? Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
So my staff is going to be having a table. I have actually a meeting tomorrow night, so I will be here as well for part of the night, but we'll have a table for social services, and then we're going to have all the Peabody Promise information as well.
That's great. That is great. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Any other comments or questions for our Peabody Promise team? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and I appreciate the work you've done. This has certainly been a great update, and that's what it is. It's a progress meeting. It's an update. There's a ton of work to still be done. I thank Ms. Millman for that. One thing I will say about the training is that every staff member has signed off on the mandatory training for the bullying procedures that we have. It's online, and they've all signed off on it. Obviously, we've seen that some of that has fallen short. So later when I talked about the approval of the calendar, it's with 2 professional development days up front. And so I want to mention tonight as well that we will be doing an in-person training for all of the bullying procedures at the beginning of next school year. So although this is a process, I know there was certainly some confusion around what the procedures are. So part of what we are asking the task force to do is to help with the communication of those procedures. We are in compliance, but if people don't know about what we're doing and people don't know what to expect, that is where we're going to really work on updating our procedures, communicating those procedures. Our goal, to be realistic, our goal is to have that completed by the summer so that in the start of next school year, everyone will be trained on the new procedures so that they'll be able to implement them with fidelity over the course of the next school year. We didn't want to change mid-year and ask people to do something that they weren't trained on. So that's where we are. I know people are waiting, but we are working on these. We are reviewing documents. We are currently in compliance and tightening up our procedures, but we are committed to that work moving forward.
Yes, please. Thank you, Dr. Vidala. Ms. Grinnell?
I just wanted to address also that the subcommittees that have been meeting, the idea with the action teams is they meet on a shorter term basis because, as Mrs. Dunn shared, we have scheduling conflicts that come up. We had a couple groups that merged together, so scheduling changes. So at our next community update meeting that we expect to be, late spring, early summer, we're going to be asking, community members to sign on to new action groups. So, some of the procedural pieces may be on that list then, they may not be, but we have a number of community projects. So we're going to be looking for ongoing engagement. This isn't just a, one time to have these action teams and have it be done. We want to continue to support the students and the families in the community.
Thank you, Ms. Grinnell. Ms. Millman?
Dr. Vidala, can you just respond to one of the things that we saw was difficult was in collection of the data, like you talked about, of being able to have this in response to Ms. Cox too, like we have to have this information and safety plans and things of where this document lies and whether or not, because a question had come up of how we could better utilize Aspen so that should students go from one school to another, that there's something within Aspen, within the backgrounds of Aspen that can keep this information. So if we know that 2 students, let's say, shouldn't be together in classes, that would move forward and these things can be seen so that we're, proactively planning in the future. Is there something that's happening there?
Yeah, great question. So right now, the reporting form is through Google. So we have it in a Google spreadsheet. We're able to do that. What we're asking moving forward is there are the ability to use journal entries in Aspen. So we're exploring that. It hasn't been operationalized yet, but that is something that we're looking at the capacity for that. And again, a lot of these things we're trying to figure out what is it that we need so that we can take the summer to either, if it's purchasing an add-on for Aspen, or if it's just, training our staff in order to implement that, to be able to do so and rolling those things out at the start of the school year. So definitely more updates on that to come.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Millman. All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate all your work and time tonight. Thank you. Yep, Mr. Swanson. Yeah, Mr. Swanson.
This is not Peabody Promise, but I just want to give you an update. Stage 1, they're still award-winning. Thank you.
Terrific.
Regular agenda. And then
Yep, we'll go right back to the regular agenda, and let's go right up to item number 1, minutes. We do have regular school committee meeting minutes of February 10th, 2026. I'd open those up for discussion and a vote.
Motion to accept and approve meeting minutes of February 10th, 2026.
Second.
Great, you've heard the motion by Mrs. Carpenter for approval of those minutes, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn. Mrs. Dunn.
Oh, Mrs. Dunn, motion is to you.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Did you have any comments on the motion or anything?
I'm so sorry.
No, sorry. It was where a motion was made for approval of the February 10th school committee meeting minutes.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have flyers for everyone. I have flyers for everyone. That's what the conversation was about, so I'll
Okay.
give these out.
All right.
Yes, minutes are fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Milliman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. We have a number of warrants tonight under approval of bills. I'd like to turn over to Mr. Olympio for some motions.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6282 dated Tuesday, March 10th, in the amount of $2,151,229.24, subject to audit.
Second.
Great, thank you for the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6282. It was seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6283 dated Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, in the amount of, actually warrant number 6283 in the amount of $91,085.17, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6283, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Abstain.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6284 dated Tuesday, March 10, 2026, in the amount of $7,463,856.57, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6284, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6290 dated Tuesday, March 10, 2026, in the amount of $91,903.13, subject to audit.
Second.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6290, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Abstain.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6291 dated Tuesday, March 10, 2026, in the amount of $177,896.71, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant 6291, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Amico? Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Ms. Millman?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6294 dated Tuesday, March 10, 2026, in the amount of $1,927.43, subject to audit.
Second.
Thank you. You've heard the motion made by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6291, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Ms. Millman?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mrs. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant number 6295 dated Tuesday, March 10, 2026, in the amount of $2,442,555.15, subject to audit.
Second.
Further motion by Mr. Olympio for approval of warrant number 6294, seconded by Mr. Amico. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Ms. Millman?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mrs. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Did I?
Hit them all? Did we get,
Yeah, was I one off, or?
no, I might have been off on one of those.
The last one was 95, Mr. Mayor.
6295, that was my error.
Yeah, I
So-
think we're
But we did vote on all 7.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much.
And took my breath away.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Mr. Olympio. Next, we'll go to continued business. Couple of items to report on. First one, Mrs. Dunn, the Peabody Veterans Memorial High School MSBA project. Anything to report today?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, we've been following through on the process to select an OPM company to work with us to help run this project. And yesterday, the MSBA held a OPM panel meeting, which is part of their process. The excuse me, the company that we chose and recommended did appear before that panel. They had to do a presentation. The panel members asked a lot of probing questions to make sure that the firm was the right fit for Peabody. And we will be revealing the name of that firm tomorrow. And I think everyone will be pleased. Those of us who participated in the interviews were very, very pleased with them. It was actually a unanimous selection based on our criteria and the feedback that each of those members had. So tomorrow, you'll find out who the OPM is, and we will be having our school building committee meeting at 3 p.m. at the high school. At that time, we'll be detailing the process again to the members of that committee, and then also introducing the firm and having everyone on the school building committee be able to meet the principals in that firm and talk to them and see a presentation from that corporation. So the process is really going to take off now, because the next step after selecting an OPM is to move into selection of the design team. And there will be a lot more work, a lot more to report back to you, a lot of activities. The people on the school building committee are going to be very busy. We will absolutely be working out the details for our working groups that'll be, focused on specific areas, and we will be looking for members on those committees, not just from our school building committee, but from the public at large. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but I will say we are on our way, and you will see a really interesting projection of the time frame of what work will be going on in the future to get us to a new school.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. I think that was a very thorough report. Just to add, I personally was very pleased with the quantity of companies that submitted bids as well as the quality. I was really pleased about that. I kept hearing that there was a lot of interest in this project, and that definitely was visible, and really pleased with how that all went. We had a number of very accomplished companies and that brought forward and wanted to be a part of this project. So I was very, very grateful for that. So looking forward to the school building committee meeting tomorrow. Any questions for Mrs. Dunn? All right, thank you. The second item under continued business is the FY27 budget process. Dr. Vidal, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted just to add this, just so that we have that standing agenda item. No presentation tonight, but I want to provide an update on what we've been doing. So you got the original budget book, the abbreviated version, with the proposed budget first draft being around $104.9 million. We've worked very closely with the HR department and with Mr. Rippon and the entire business office to go through and look at first the turnover savings from retirements that we know about and things like that. So we're currently working on that. That has all been cleaned up in the detail, and now we're working on the non-salary items. So we're looking at about a 6% increase right now. Half of that, about $3 million in salaries. The other half of that, about $3 million in non-salaries. And then the non-salaries is primarily health insurance, special ed tuitions, and transportation. So we're working on the detail right now for the non-salaries, making sure that all of that backup is ready. And we're anticipating that the full budget book will be available at the next school committee meeting for the school committee to be able to review. And then we can really get into that. We had a nice meeting with the mayor today and the department heads and talked about the budgets in general and where we are. We know there'll be some reductions to the school budget based on that number. We certainly won't be able to fund a full $104.9 million budget. So we'll be looking to reduce that and finding an accurate number for that. So I think once we get the full budget books, you'll be able to review those and really get into the detail. And then we'll plan on our budget meetings soon after that.
Great, thank you. And I do suggest that once we do get the budget book at our next meeting, I think between all of us, we carve out a number of dates to start getting our meetings lined up. It'll be a lot of work for us to do. So I think at the next meeting, we line up our budget review dates. All right, thank you. We're going to go back to the superintendent's report. A few remaining items. Dr. Vidal, I'll turn it over to you and your team.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So these three quick items remaining. The first one, as I mentioned before, is the draft calendar for school year 2026-27. This was a calendar that was presented before. I spoke with PFT President Michael Hawes yesterday. We had a very nice conversation. We are recommending that this calendar move forward. It's not a perfect calendar, but it does meet the contractual restrictions that we have with the agreement that we'll have a day and a half of PD up front. And so what we're hoping for is a start date for teachers on August 31st, which would be the half-day opening day kickoff. Then they go back to their schools. A full professional development day on Tuesday, September 1st, which is an election day, so we wouldn't want to have students in the building on that day, but we'd have professional development. That's when we intend on rolling out the bullying PD, and then students would report on Wednesday, September 2nd, which is before Labor Day, and they would return. They would have Wednesday and Thursday, 2 days before Labor Day, a long weekend with Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off for Labor Day, and students would report back on Tuesday, September 8th. So I would ask for a motion to approve the proposed calendar as presented.
Great, thank you, Dr. Vidal. I'll open that up to the school committee members. Mrs. Cox?
And this might just be because I am one of the newest members of the school committee. I just want to know if this is an opportunity for us to open up for discussion on how we can restructure in order to try to look at being more creative with either professional development days. A lot of them are like full day professional development days that, I think there's 5 days total, but a couple of them are getting out, like staff get out at like 12 or 12:30. So are we able to condense those to kind of recoup some of the days at the end of the year? I just want to know if this is the opportunity or if there should have been another time that we could actually have open discussion about what the school calendar looks like and how these days are chose. Additionally, thinking about holidays and what those holidays look like, and a lot of districts and neighboring towns and different communities are, have gone away with some of the specific religious holidays and are, a little bit more flexible with conversation around stipulations for not having assignments that are going to be due or tests that are going to be done on those days. So if a teacher or if a student needs to be out due to religious reasons, they can without penalty. Is this the appropriate time to have that, to open up that discussion, or?
So
is this
a lot
something
of
that
those
should have been
things are
done?
contractual provisions, which we would have to negotiate with the union. I will say that the union is open to a meeting to discuss that. At this time, we're looking for the start date. We're looking to book PD. This follows the contract, and we do have an opportunity to meet with the union and do a side letter. They are very open to that, but we do want our families and our teachers to know what their report date is. So that's why we're moving forward with this version.
Definitely understand that need, but hoping that either in the future or, next year that we could have this discussion either on the floor or with whatever subcommittee that it might fit into, if that's a possibility prior to it being brought to us. That way we can have those conversations with the appropriate people beforehand.
Great, absolutely. Thank you, Mrs. Cox. Ms. Millman?
I actually have had a few discussions and received some interest from the public also, and really think we need to hold off on this because we didn't have discussion. And I really think that discussion needs to be had. My understanding from talking to the union was that they want to have some more discussion on it. You have presented to us, Dr. Vidala, previously actually a couple of possible calendars. But in my understanding, that was like, hey, take a look. There was never open discussion, and I think it is premature today to actually put it to a vote to devote this calendar, albeit I understand it's late and everybody needs to create summer plans and end-of-year plans and camp plans and all of that. But I think given the amount of concern we've heard from the public about some dates and things like that, and the end dates and where the end of the year falls, especially if we have snow dates like we have been having, I think it's really very premature, and really would like to, and I don't know the proper terminology, but stay this motion, or no, there isn't one yet on the table, and I would say that we shouldn't be having it until we can have more public comment on it, until we can have the union directly speak to it. I understand there are contractual issues, but at the same time, there hasn't been an opportunity to have a discussion, and I feel it's just being put forth to us to vote today. And I think it's premature.
Thank you, Ms. Millman. Yep, I will open that up for discussion, certainly. Mr. Amico?
Thank you through the chair. So the calendar isn't perfect. It never will be perfect. I've been in education for 25 years. Everyone has their own opinion on things. I've heard from 2 people that want to change the calendar, and I've heard from dozens of people who want to know, when they can take their vacations, when they can set their plans, when they can set their daycare for the summer. So my 2 cents on this is that we'll never have a perfect calendar. We have a window from August 24th, I believe, to June 30th, the end of the fiscal year. Snow is going to happen. Some years it's going to be more than others, as we've seen this year, and hopefully we're done. We also had years where there was no snow. I believe 2 years ago, I was out of school second week of June. So there's no exact science to this, and nobody's right or wrong on this. You have a 10-month period where you have to get 181 or whatever days in, and no one here is going to pretend that they have the correct answer or the wrong answer. It's just fact. We have to educate our students in that time period, and that's the best we can do. I've also heard the argument of, bringing in, getting rid of April and February break and putting in a March break. And that's come up every 3 to 5 years in my 25 years of education and my 10 years here on the school committee. And I can tell you that it's always brought up by somebody, and then someone reminds them that, you have President's Day off, and then you have Patriots' Day off, and then if you have another snow day in February or 2, like we've had the snowiest February, then you're still off in February, then you're off in March, and then, and you're not going to change the Boston Marathon, and you're not going to change the amount of law enforcement that they need, which is a major event, and more so after 2013. So I know we want to look at this calendar, and from my perspective, I think the union has been involved. I think we've all been involved. I think this is something that we look at every year. And I think we just need to move forward. I think people need to know when they can take their vacations, when they can make their doctor's appointments and so forth. I just think it's it'll never be exact. It'll never be perfect. This is what we have. It's based on the agrarian calendar, and they get out sometime in June, and they go back to school. And I can understand that we have some people on the religious end of it too. But I do have to remind people that we do have five temples here in Peabody, and that's a major group of people that we would be impacting. So I'm ready to make a motion to approve the calendar for 2026, 2027. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Amico for approval of the calendar, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Open it up for discussion. Mrs. Dunn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everything that's been raised has been a very legitimate track of conversation here. It is the same discussion we always have about the calendar. Knowing that this will give people the definitive start date of school for the upcoming year, I can tell you the majority of concerns that I receive as a school committee member and always receive for every year is the start date of school. I will hear from people about the religious holidays. I will hear from people about professional development days. But consistently, the largest number is people need to know when school will start, and they get very frustrated when we don't give that date as soon as we're able. Now, I have my own arguments with the calendar, and I've said them year after year. But the reason I can support this motion is because I do want people to be able to know our start date, because the summer is getting more and more difficult for people to be able to handle as far as summer camp, child care, locations for their children. It really does involve a lot, and I think it crosses all the borders of where someone stands regarding the calendar. So I will be supporting this.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Any other comments, questions? I'm sorry.
I'd just like to add, the school committee has the authority to set the calendar provided that it follows the contractual provisions. So this is not my calendar. The calendar that follows the contractual provisions gets us out on June 24th. I worked with the union, and they agreed to change things a little bit to get us out one day early on June 23rd. That's what we're presenting tonight. So it is a slight deviation from the contractual obligations that we have, and it does get us out a day earlier. And so that was the understanding. So I'll go with the will of the committee, but that's what was presented. We had previously shown a different calendar that got out on June 24th, which followed the contract, and the union graciously worked with us. And they're happy to engage in further discussion down the road. And I think that's definitely appropriate and something that we should engage in. And I'm happy to set those things up.
Thank you, Dr. Vidala. Ms. Millman?
I think whereas the union is willing to engage and talk further about it, it also begs a delay of voting on this tonight, and perhaps it only be 1 week. I do have looked at other calendars that have been voted on other communities. I know there's still a concern about days starting, days stopping, or ending the potential of the 180 days and then the 5 other built-in days. I also really want to say that no one's looking for perfection, and not everyone is ever going to be happy. That's for sure. And that's just the way it is. But that being said, I don't want to sit in a place of complacency saying I've been doing this for years and years with no disrespect meant whatsoever, but also the kids in the communities somewhat change over the years. If you had a 5-year-old, you now have a 10-year-old. If you had a 10-year-old, maybe your kid is out of school, and things change, and the community should have an opportunity to say what's being put forth and maybe have some public comment. So I really think it begs perhaps waiting for 1 week, and would I don't know how to say it because I don't know the parliamentary rules around it, but I would really like to stay this discussion and this vote for a week, because I think that we need to hear a bit more and hear from people that are now in the community, that now have children in school. And it really is not just about the union and the teachers, it's about the families that we represent over time. And from hearing from people, I think it's something that needs to be brought forward with all of the different ideas and be able to have them heard.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call the question.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to call the question
You'd like to call the question
to take the vote.
to move forward with the vote? Okay. So to move the question is what you're requesting. We have to vote on that to move the question. So when a move the question motion comes forward, we stop, we make a motion, or we vote on that motion. So your motion is to stop the discussion and move forward with the vote. All right, that requires a vote. Yes, if her vote goes forward, Ms. Dunn's vote goes forward, there's no further discussion. And a vote would then have to be made. If the vote is rejected, then the discussion continues. So that's the procedure.
Mayor Betancourt,
Yeah.
may I ask just for a point of clarification? So to be very frank, I don't know the rules of parliamentary, and we haven't been given that information to truly understand it. And what I believe I had requested previous to that motion of moving it forward was to postpone the motion. So I don't know the right way in which to do it, but if you could help me, as I stated before, I'm requesting to postpone this motion and not move it forward, and that was stated prior to the request to move a motion forward.
Yes, however, there was a motion before your motion to approve the calendar. So working backwards, your motion can't be brought forward unless Mr. Amico agrees to change his motion. So let me make sure I have this right.
I think it's really easy. I'm not going to remove my motion.
Well, hold on. Again, when a motion was made to move the question, I have to go to that. So move the question vote has to be made. If the vote is approved, we vote on Mr. Amico's motion. If it's rejected, we continue the discussion. And yeah, that demands an immediate vote. Roll call vote on the motion to move the question. We haven't had that in a bit. All right. Yeah.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
No.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
No.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We have now then, we go to the original motion that Mr. Amico made, seconded by Mrs. Carpenter. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
No.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
No.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
All right. There's the motion.
Point of clarification, please, for me. Are we still able to talk about it after all of that?
Certainly. The motion being made, just to make sure, because this is, we haven't dealt with this in a little bit. This is something that happens frequently on the city council. So we have a current motion. Ms. Millman brought forward a new proposed motion. That can only be changed if Mr. Amico agrees to withdraw his motion or to add on to his motion. But then the motion was made to move the question, and I have to act on that under Robert's rules. It is on the agenda. So let's go to Mrs. Carpenter, then we'll go back to Ms. Millman. Jeez, this hasn't happened in a bit.
I'm going to use it all the time now.
All right.
So regarding the calendar, I understand as new members, you do see things that are kind of like, why not, right? I get that. And I do see things as the way they are right now and being on the negotiating committee. The calendar is the school committee's. However, there are so many things within the calendar that are negotiated, that are agreed upon. So I understand your concern. I understand I got a couple of emails asking some different questions. And I get it. I get, why not, right? I just think that at this time, we can't do that now because of all of the other things that we have to take care of. But I do think that maybe moving forward, we can start discussing next year's calendar, because there is so much work that's put into it. There's so many things regarding PD, holidays. There are things that we negotiate. So I respect your position. I just think at this time, it's probably not, well, I know it's not going to happen, but I think moving forward we can, and working with the union, we just finished up with negotiations, so that would open up everything all over again. So I think maybe moving forward for the following year's calendar, we could make a list of some of the concerns that you have, some of the questions that you have, and in our subcommittee, we could discuss those and see how they could be worked out if it's possible. But I do get it. You're like, why can't this happen? And being in that room for many years, you do take on a lot of different people's reasoning, and you try to come to the best solution for everybody, and the majority of that, and this is the product of that. But times do change. So I guess I'm just saying to the two of you, I respect your position, but I think we'll have to do it for the following calendar and have more time at it. Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. Ms. Millman?
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. I really do appreciate that. And it's not lightly that both Ms. Cox and I, not to speak for her, but we kind of were talking and asking these questions. And as you can see, we're new at it and don't know kind of all the parliamentary rules around it, because I'm still questioning with a motion to postpone something is a little bit different. So I'm still going to be doing my research in the background on that. And I do appreciate that. And I think what it comes down to, and as you stated, is I feel that we do some things late and then we are pressured to get them done, and there hasn't been enough discussion and working group information on it. And this is not the only thing. I think that in general is a feeling that we're getting. I think a lot of people have you all have way more experience in all of this, and so we're trying to figure some of it out, and it felt very pressured because then we are hearing from the public, and I did hear from the union folks as well. And so I think it is important to think about it, and I thank you very much and appreciate that, because I think we need to start to look at the one thing we do know is that the calendar, not our calendar, but the calendar is going to be out there next year, and the days happen. We will know when January 1st is next year and what day of the week it is. So there are certain things we will know, and I don't think that we would have to delay or wait till this late in the year. And when I say that, kind of after the current February break, that we have to wait this late, that we can have these discussions much sooner in the year. And I really would say that would be very, very important, and kind of goes in a little bit of the operational component of the district and organizational structure when we do these things, that it's going to be very helpful that we consider things earlier on in the year. So thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. I appreciate that recognition kind of to us and the information that you shared. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Mr. Cox?
Yes, thank you for the clarification. Also, as the new member, right, I wanted to really kind of get it out there that I do think that this is something that was going to happen next year. I didn't really think that we were going to be able to sit here and say, let's scratch this whole calendar. I understand what goes into the unions and that you guys have been meeting well before we were brought into our position, elected into our positions. And so that is something that I'm not blind to. But it is something that I do feel can be and should be open to discussion and held discussion on the floor for the public to hear and the public to be able to participate in the years to come. So I think it was an important thing to bring up during our meeting today. Thank you.
I agree, thank you. Mr. Amico?
One quick thing through the chair. Dr. Vidal, how long was the calendar on our agenda? Was it 3 meetings?
I believe we put it on the last meeting in January, I think was the first meeting where we proposed them.
So if we didn't have the snow out, the snow day there, it would have been on the agenda for literally three meetings. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And yes, there's a lot that we should be discussing about this, and I look forward to that. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have the annual overnight field trip from our baseball team. You have Principal Randall and Athletic Director Dennis DeRoche has signed off on this. They are going March 21st to the 22nd. There's a letter that talks about the itinerary, the chaperones, and this is an annual trip that is very well supervised, and I know it's something that they all enjoy. So I would entertain a recommendation to approve this overnight field trip.
Motion to follow the recommendation of the superintendent.
Second. Thank you. You've heard the motion for approval of the trip request by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Amico. Any questions, Mrs. Millman?
I want to say to head baseball coach Mark Betancourt that his documentation that went along with the form was greatly appreciated. Super, super detailed. While this may not be exactly relevant, we brought it up before, and I'd like to perhaps put it on for new business or whatever it needs to be. I think we need to revisit the form that's here so that we can have a better form. This is about the fourth one, and they all seem to have different sets of information and scratched in and whatnot. This one I think was filled out to the best, and the added information was fantastically written and informative. So I don't know if, just for point of discussion, if we could put something on about looking at the form in which we use and revisiting that.
Thank you, Ms. Millman. I think that's a good suggestion. Good. Okay. We have a motion in front of us. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Dunn. Mr. Olympio.
Yes.
Ms. Millman.
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mrs. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Amico.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. And the last item on the superintendent's report, we have a gift donation form from the center school from Subaru Adopt a Classroom. Subaru Loves Learning, donating $5,000 to the center school. That money will go to fund classroom supplies, including our multi-language learners and our special education students. So the teachers will put in their requests through the principal, and they'll be able to get $5,000 for the school worth of supplies. So would like a motion to accept that donation with gratitude.
Motion to accept with gratitude, and that is a really large sum.
Yes, it is.
Please send a letter. Thank you.
Probably a
Second.
photo.
Thank you. You've heard the motion for acceptance of the donation made by Mrs. Carpenter, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. We're all in favor of that motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That concludes the superintendent's report.
All right. Thank you very much. Next item is public participation. Is there anyone here in the library that would like to come forward and speak? The microphone is open. Okay. Seeing no one, do we have anybody that would like to join us virtually?
Yes, we have someone with their hand raised, and so I will bring in, it is Katie Greco. So I'll bring in Katie, and Katie, if you can unmute yourself and just state your name and address for the record. Thank you. Okay, Katie, I see that you're unmuted, but I am not hearing you speak. If you have a statement or question that you could put in the chat. Okay, so I'm sorry, we haven't been able to hear from Katie, but Katie, if you can send either an email or a chat, we'll continue on with the agenda and try to get you on as soon as possible.
Thank you. We'll move forward, but revisit that item in a moment. We can go to written communications. We have 4 written communications tonight. I wanted to touch on the first one. The City Council approved a request by our new Ward 2 City Councilor, Wendy Latoff. I thought she made a terrific motion to put together a traffic advisory commission representing the different wards of the city, having some different departments involved, and the motion was made to include as part of the committee composition a member from the Peabody School Committee. So I wanted to bring that forward to receive the document, and then also if there is somebody that would like to be on the committee, certainly let me know. I'd like to report back. I think Council Latoff is hoping to begin their meetings in April, so if there's somebody that is interested in serving on that committee, please let me know either now or at a later time. But did want to bring that forward. I think that committee can help in a number of ways, looking at a number of options in order to make pedestrian car traffic safer, more efficient, easier to navigate, all things that we all want to accomplish. So I'm looking forward to that work. And please let me know if there's any interest on being on that committee. Okay. I'd like to have a motion to receive that. Actually, why don't we receive all the items, written communications 1 through 4. The communication from the Peabody City Council regarding Complete Streets representative. Number 2, the Pioneer Charter School charter amendment request. Number 3, the monthly student attendance report. And number 4, the monthly Bay State textiles report. Could I have a motion to receive all those items? And if there's anybody that would like to address any of them individually, certainly give you that opportunity.
So moved.
Thank you. You've heard the motion to approve receipt of all 4 communications tonight, seconded by Mr. Olympio. All in favor of that request? Any items that anybody would like to bring up for individual discussion, please? Mrs. Dunn, turn it to you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have us discuss the charter amendment request from the Pioneer Charter School of Science.
Great. I'll open it up. Go ahead, Mrs. Dunn.
Thank you. I realize that when the school does open in Peabody, there will be changes for the people attending that school as well as for our school district. And I just wanted to ask, has the charter school reached out to our administration to begin those discussions about the changes that we will be dealing with in the middle of the school year?
Sure, so I can respond to that. The only correspondence I have is the letter that is in the packet. My understanding is that when they do operate in Peabody, we will be responsible for transportation for Peabody residents to this location. We have not entered into discussions yet. I do understand that they do not believe that they'll be ready for the first day of school, and so this letter states that they want to start their first day of school in Beverly under the same operation procedures that they have now, and then when they have their start date, they will need to be in touch with us enough time for us to be able to set up bus routes and transportation for their Peabody residents to attend this location.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, because I do want to make sure that those discussions take place prior to them opening that school in Peabody. Thank you.
Yes, and I can report that the Pioneer Charter School has been in touch with our building commissioner, has been in touch with the Peabody Police. They are going to be doing a modular build, and there's 52 modular units that are going to be delivered to the site over the next few months. I heard the same thing, that I don't think they will be looking to open this September, but at some point during next school year. But we anticipate delivery of those modular units probably in the next couple of months. And that's what I wanted to make sure everybody knew. So,
and just
it is on the Peabody Danvers line, right over near Bishop Fenwick.
I do have a follow-up question, because I know there's city considerations. Having attended the meeting when that school was first planning to come to Peabody, there were discussions on the part of that school that Peabody streets around that property were going to have to be changed to one-way, that there were going to have to be crosswalks, traffic lights, et cetera. Have they opened those conversations with the city?
Those conversations would have to be had with the city council. I'm not aware that they've taken place.
I didn't think so.
So yeah, I anticipate they will.
Yeah, because it's going to affect a lot of people. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Ms. Millman?
Just so I understand this, so the letter we've received was an amendment request to the commissioner elementary and secondary education. This wasn't something for us to do anything with, but just to be aware of. And I'm assuming that there's a response because it is a request to the commissioner themselves and not anything of ours. But it does have a little bit of play into it because they're seeking to do something temporarily continue in Beverly, and then at some point at what they state is to relocate to the Peabody campus during an extended school break. And so I guess my question is where do we come in discussing this if this is going to impact transportation for us? You know, is there something where we should be communicating as well with the commissioner as they're making a decision or something on this amendment? Because that impact in the middle of a year that we don't know when it might be or how many it might be could be incredibly impactful.
Thank you. I actually think those are important questions, or that's an important issue to raise, and I think we probably should, as a committee, ask these questions. I believe to make any change to our traffic patterns in terms of one-ways or local traffic only type of roads, that has to be approved by the city council and have to be presented to the city council. And again, I'm not aware that that is taking place. I don't believe it has. But in terms of questions about bus routes, how that's going to affect those streets and those neighborhoods, I think those are questions that we should ask through a motion and send along letters. You know, I think we have that ability and should do that. Because I'm not aware of the traffic routes. I don't think that has been presented to the city in any way.
And it's a budgetary consideration because it's going to come in the middle of the year, and we can't plan properly without the proper information. I do believe that the commissioner needs to know about this, that there have been no discussions, no specific discussions, no explanation of what Peabody schools will be incurring when this school opens in Peabody. And I really do think there should have been better outreach from the charter school. They've known about this for a long time, and they should have been reaching out to the schools, reaching out to the city, and making sure that people were aware of what is actually going to happen when they open their school. So in a response that goes back to the commissioner, I would like to see details from Peabody requesting information before that approval comes from the commissioner.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn.
So we have an open period. I have an email that allows us to submit comment up through March 18th. So next Wednesday, we have enough time to submit anything we want to DESE. So I can compile that.
I'm going to go back to Ms. Millman.
And just to be clear, because this is what's in their letter, but I don't know how this translates. Their transportation practices are unchanged, they state, and they will continue to provide transportation services to the Pioneer Charter School for students residing in their sending districts. So just to be clear, that's what it currently states. That doesn't mean it's what would stay, I don't know, but I want to be clear that that may not be common practice, but they did say this in the letter. But again, I don't know if this could change, and we don't even have a timeline of middle of the year. It just says during an extended break of some sort. So I do think that clarification is warranted, but with perhaps what we need to do is think about if they currently are stating they're going to provide transportation, is that going to continue and through what duration as we're looking at transportation issues?
So their requirement is to provide transportation for the sending districts of communities in which they do not reside. So for example, if you live in Lynn and you're being transported to Beverly, that same bus will then transport you to Peabody. However, if you live in Peabody, the city of Peabody is responsible for transporting you, thus the school department will have to take on that expense. That's what the regulation states. So any of their kids from Saugus, Linfield, Lynn, Beverly, Danvers will continue to get the same buses to the different location, but the city of Peabody will be required to transport any Peabody resident to that location.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't read it that way, actually. Just but it says they will continue to provide transportation services to students residing in their sending schools. So while I understand what you're saying regulation-wise, they may be going outside of that by stating that, perhaps. And I guess this is a point of clarification, because to me it says in their residing sending district. So we could, students in Peabody could apply to this school, right? And then they could be getting transportation there. If it's a sending school district, right? Then it says the charter is going to provide the transportation.
Nope.
Well, it doesn't say through us. I hear what you're saying, Dr. Vidala, through us, but it doesn't say that. And perhaps that's the point of clarification that we need from them and the commissioner's office.
Yeah, I do. I can see with that language. Could we get clarification on that? Because I do see that language does seem to contradict a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, and there's a lot of lawyers in this room, so I know that you all love to argue. This is not a contract. This is just an intent letter. But protecting us, we're on the hook for transportation, so I'll certainly do that. I will reach out to all the committee members and compile information for questions and meet that March 18th deadline.
Okay. All right, Ms. Millman, you all set? Mrs. Dunn?
Mr. Amico
Mr.
goes
Amico.
ahead.
Not an attorney, I don't pretend to be one, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express. But I do know that you do need a letter of occupancy, right, for any building. So I would ask through the chair that we have the city council on board. I'm sure they are, that before anything is impactful here to our school committee, whether it's budgetary or transportation, and that letter of occupancy is delivered, that we have a meeting prior to that to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves first, because it could be budgetary, it could be a transportation issue, and I think that's important for us to cover ourselves.
Thank you, and I do know the council is obviously very interested in this as well. Councilor Peach, the Ward 3 council in that area, this is a topic that she's been looking into quite often, and so yeah, I think the information that we can gather just to get some clarity on some of that, I think would be very helpful to us as we get ready for this addition to our city and also the impact it may have on our budget. Mrs. Dunn?
May I, through you, ask Mr. Rippon a question? Mr. Rippon, regarding transportation, is it a law or regulation that the city of Peabody must provide transportation within the district to any school in our district where our students attend?
Yes.
Okay. And we do have a citation to that, and we do provide transportation to the other schools in this district that are not Peabody Public Schools. And
MGL Chapter 71, Section 89.
Thank you. Thank you. My other question, actually it's not a question, but I would say we need to reach out to Bishop Fenwick. At the meetings that I attended, one of the other things that the charter school said was they would be coordinating their transportation and possibly their start times due to the start time of Bishop Fenwick and traffic congestion in the area on Margin Street. That was a big consideration and a concern of the residents who attended that meeting. So I would like to see whether they did any outreach to Bishop Fenwick High School as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Okay. Dr. Vidali, you have a handle on that?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm sending some just chat messages to the person, and I also emailed them just to see, and I'll get any information for the public participation.
Okay. Have we had any luck bringing in the person who was looking to try to enter virtually?
Yeah, we weren't able to do that, so I'm trying to.
Oh, that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I'm sending emails.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you would. Okay. Yeah. Mrs. Cox.
Regarding that public comment, I do have email correspondence with her. I don't know if this is allowed. If she asked me, she said the chat is disabled. I'm unable to share. If I would be willing to share the original email that she sent me, I would be happy to do so for her public comment if that is allowed. I don't know if it's allowed.
It's normally not, but under these circumstances, I would say if the school committee voted to accept that, then we could, but normally it isn't.
I'd like to have it read into the record.
I'd say that through the chair because of the technology issue. I think that's fine.
I think that's fair. Yep.
And thank you, Mr. Rippon.
Yeah, if there's no objection, I would like to have that read into the record in light of the... Yep. Please, Ms. Cox, could you...
All right, so it says, hello, school committee members. I'm reaching out to share my voice around the calendar for the upcoming 2026-2027 school year. My two sons are currently enrolled at the Burke School in kindergarten and third grade. We have loved being a part of the Burke School for the last 3.5 years. I've also worked in Malden Public Schools for the last 20 years. I currently serve as the assistant principal at the Beebe School, BB, thank you, where I have been for the last 12 years. Previous to that, I have taught third grade for 8 years at the Ferryway School. I have not previously reached out to you all, but felt that it is important to reach out now to provide an option for you to consider for the 2026-2027 school year calendar. Neighboring districts have identified alternative ways to allow staff members and families to celebrate their religious needs outside of having scheduled days off for the districts in its entirety. As the needs of the demographics have changed over time, it would be helpful to be more inclusive of all families and religions, as the current calendar only reflects religious preferences for Jewish and Catholic holidays. These districts have provided staff an additional personal day while also allowing students an excused absence for a religious day of obligation. These days could be used for Good Friday, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Eid, just to name a few. Additionally, districts have stipulations around tests or project due dates surrounding these holidays. Removing these days from the calendar while allowing staff and students flexibility for their individual religious needs without penalty would allow for more equity and inclusivity in our wonderfully diverse community. I hope you take this into consideration when looking at the 26-27 school year calendar vote. Please reach out with any follow-up questions. Thank you, Kate Greco.
And for the record, Mr. Mayor, we need the name and address of the person. We always ask that for public participation.
I can try to get her address.
Yeah, Kate,
Okay.
I know the Grecos, they live in the Burke School neighborhood,
Yeah.
Hampshire Road.
Okay, so that needs to be noted in the minutes. Thank you.
All right. Nope, that was helpful. So I would ask that we accept that as part of the record and as presented in public participation. I don't think I need a vote.
Motion
for that.
to receive.
Thank you. Could we have a motion just for... Motion was made by Mr. Amico to accept that communication as public comment, seconded by Mrs. Cox. Everybody in favor of that? Okay. All right, thank you. That's helpful. All right. Nothing further on written communications. We can go to subcommittee reports. Start Education Subcommittee, Mr. Amico.
Thank you, through the chair. We had a meeting prior to the school committee meeting, and we had Mrs. Cox, Ms. Millman, myself, Dr. Vidala, and Dr. Chase in attendance, and we spoke about the program of studies and looking at minor tweaks to the college prep grades and grading policy. We're going to bring it to Ms. Randall and her leadership team, and Dr. Chase will be in attendance for that, and they'll discuss it, and they'll come back to us at our next meeting when we look at the program of studies for the final vote.
Thank you, Mr. Amico. All right. Next, we'll go to Finance. Anything to report today, Mr. Olympio?
Just we're currently in negotiations with Unit C, and we had a meeting prior to this meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing new to report.
School safety?
Nothing new to report.
Okay. Athletics and wellness?
Yes.
Nothing to report tonight. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
I
No,
was
that's
gonna-
yours. That's yours.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Is it mine?
I think
it is mine.
It is yours now.
Sorry.
Yes.
Through the chair, Mr. Mayor, you're in a third rail situation here. South School, boys and girls teams both won. I think they beat the Burke. So do you want to handle this, or how do you?
They were two great games. Next year when they all come together as sixth graders, we're going to have some terrific teams. How was that, to abduct the question?
Unbelievable. No,
the South School was victorious in both the girls and boys, but it was terrific games and really some amazing talent and packed houses at the high school. I got to see the games. Pretty amazing. So yeah, the South got the Burke this year.
Runners.
The Roadrunners. The Roadrunners beat the Tigers, yes. Let's see. And I do think, and I might not have followed up on this, I got to make a note. I did want to add athletics and wellness to the Athletics and Wellness Subcommittee, performing arts. And I don't think I finalized that, and I apologize. So let me work on that. I wanted to have, I know there's some reviews going on at the subcommittee, which I think is necessary, but I did want to make sure that we have performing arts updated as we move along. So let me finalize that. I should have done that. He did give us a little update. Yeah, he did. That was a good update. Right to the point. That was good. All right, quality and standards, Mrs. Dunn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will be having a Quality and Standards Subcommittee meeting tentatively prior to our next school committee meeting, but I also did want to let people know that we will be working with the superintendent regarding a retreat day for the school committee. That is considered our professional development, and we will start planning that now so that we are able to have it. One of the things that does intrude into that planning is the budget and all of the meetings we have for budget. So we will just be opening those discussions and talking about potential dates. Members will be polled, and then that would not take place until after the budget season is over, just so everyone knows. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. District and Organizational Subcommittee? Oh, did I miss one? Oh, Building and Grounds.
Building and Grounds, and I have to apologize, Mr. Amico, because that's what I was thinking of you with that. Building and Grounds, we have nothing to report tonight, but we should have something very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. District and Organizational Subcommittee? Ms. Millman?
Yes, so first, thank you, Ms. Dunn, of talking about a retreat day. That's been on our minds as new members. Ms. Cox and I have talked about that. There's a few things to report. I want to say I'm super pleased we've got off the ground running, Dr. Vidala and Ms. Cox and myself, in really trying to create an organizational chart with the lion's share done by Dr. Vidala in providing of information, and the lion's share, the second lion's share by Ms. Cox, I have to say, with her technology savvy and creating amazing structures that are going to be presented, I believe, at some school committee meeting for better understanding organizationally, and in particular also in looking at the budget. So we are creating an organizational chart that kind of encapsulates aspects of the budget to be visible, and so when we're looking at the budget, you can look at the org chart and vice versa. I think is going to be super helpful. We're also looking at website design and revisiting the website. We have our next meeting planned for the 17th, and that notice has gone out. Part of the website design, again, is also looking at complementary school, other districts, and just things that we want as a district and that have traditionally been part of what we do, and then just making it better and more accessible. And then obviously we'd be connecting with the city too as part of that, as well as the Peabody promise that none of these pieces are going to be left out. We want to make sure we will capture everything, so we're going to be working on that. The other thing is one of the one of the things that we had requested over a month ago was that each subcommittee each chairperson of the subcommittee provide 3 to 5 lines of the purpose of the subcommittee, understanding direction and purpose of the subcommittee. We haven't received that from any of the subcommittees. We did create one for ourselves, which I do think, and if I may share what we put so that people have maybe an example, but we said the district organization and structure subcommittee exists to review, evaluate, and recommend improvements to the systemic framework of the district. This includes clear definition of leadership roles and optimization of the organizational hierarchy and the maintenance of modern, accessible communication infrastructures to ensure accountability to the student, staff, and the Peabody community. Pretty simple. I think it'll be helpful when we do a retreat that we can also bring these things together and look at them, and I'm sure part of the retreat will be about creating SMART goals as subcommittees leading to our bigger vision goals, mission, et cetera, of the district. So we're still waiting on that. I don't know the holdup. We haven't heard from anybody, but we've received nothing. So we're still requesting that. The other point, I think, if I may lend the floor over to Ms. Cox to perhaps just provide just a little understanding of how we are already being able to utilize our structures on our platform, the Google platform, so that we are meeting with open meeting laws very specifically, because one of the things as part of our what we're calling our DOS subcommittee is that it appears that either we haven't quite met with some open meeting laws, or we have and we don't know where the information is to continue to comply with open meeting laws about agendas that must be posted when we have subcommittees and our minutes that must be posted as well. So if I may, Ms. Cox could perhaps maybe tell a little bit about what has been created in doing that, so people know exactly what we're doing, if you're ready to do
definitely.
Yep, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so this all started, I kind of took the framework that I believe John Swanson started with, trying to get everything online for us and a seamless on Google Drive. He created that shared drive, and then Brian was able to share it as the administrative unit on there for everyone to have access to. I essentially created my own that is now currently being shared on the Peabody website, on the school's website, because that has access to all of our meeting minutes for our subcommittees as well as our agendas. So I've shared that folder with everyone. So there is individual subcommittee folders that you could put your information in, the information about your subcommittee meetings, and then there is a live public file that the public is able to go and see and view. And it's organized where the agendas will be located, and then meeting minutes will follow subsequently right after.
Thank you, Mrs. Cox. Ms. Milman, I can turn it back to you.
Yeah, so just on that too, I think that utilizing the time of a retreat, it's going to be super helpful too for those of us that aren't as tech savvy to kind of understand how easy it actually is to use and to make sure that we're through that also complying with open meeting law, because what all of the minutes for all of these subcommittees need to be accessible to the public, and that's what Ms. Cox has put together so that that can be done. It can be done now, and we don't have to wait or have any concerns about that. I would ask of you, Chairperson Betancourt, if you could help in some aspect of, or thoughts about the fact that we really want to get this moving in a positive direction so that we can continue to make things organizationally easier, accessible, transparent, and if we could get the subcommittees to respond to the request that we put forth to have 3 to 5 sentences of the purpose of each subcommittee.
Yep, I can assist. Okay. Great. All right. All right, thank you, everyone. Let's see. Parent and Student Advisory Boards, Mrs. Dunn, anything to report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The meeting for the Parent Advisory Board was canceled due to the weather. Unfortunately, we had predicted that, as you know, when I said as soon as we schedule a PAB meeting to discuss snow removal, we have a blizzard. Bingo! So anyway, I am going to reschedule that so that we are able to have the members of our facilities team and the Department of Public Services attend to be able to answer questions and explain the process and let parents know what goes into the snow removal at the schools as well as on the sidewalks. A lot of people get very concerned, as they should be, about how it takes place. I'm also inviting Dr. Vidala to come because I think people need to understand how difficult it really is to cancel school or decide on a delay. And people don't know exactly how that happens. And I can tell you that every time we do have this meeting, the parents are very impressed with that information and are able to understand things so much better, and they bring that information back to their PTOs. So I will be working with the people who need to speak to it and the experts in our district, in our field, who will be able to explain it very well. It will be near the end of the month, and I am just mindful of 1997 when we had an April Fool's Day blizzard. So, fair warning, we may go into April before we have this meeting. I just want you to all know that. Any of the parents waiting at home to hear any tentative date, I want to consult with the Almanac and 3 stations with weathermen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Okay, City Council Legislative Delegation. Ms. Coppin, anything to
Nothing
report
to
today? Okay. Special Education Parent Advisory Council. Ms. Millman, anything to report today?
Yes. So the Special Education Parent Advisory Committee had a Let's Get Organized event where they provided I think they got donated some like canvas tote bags. They had all sorts of things in it provided to those that attended to help them get organized with the plethora of documentation that comes with having a student on an IEP perhaps, or a 504 plan, or not even, and just a way to get organized. And it was well attended and the information was provided. And I think they might even have a tote bag left of all those goodies. If someone should want, they should certainly reach out to the CPAC people. So that's one thing. They also have upcoming on March 17th at 7 p.m. It is virtual. It is a caregiver meetup. Tuesday, March 17th, 7 p.m. virtual. This is to connect with others, share resources, ask questions about IEPs, 504 plans, dispute resolution, testing, and more, and collaborate on ways to support our students. There is a Zoom link that's already established, and that's on their social media, and if anyone is seeking that, to be sure to reach out to the CPAC. I don't know at this time translation services and whether those are how we're meeting those yet, but if someone should need translation services, to please reach out and they'll be sure to make that happen one way or another. That's one. The other thing is the CPAC president, Liz Mover, and myself will be meeting with Dr. Crompton. I believe it's next week on the 16th to kind of talk about things. There's lots of things to celebrate with our community of students that receive services for a variety of different reasons. But there have also been quite a few concerns that have come through that I know the school committee has received some of those emails. As the liaison, I'm following up on those. Dr. Vidal and I have spoke on some of them, and I'm sure Dr. Crompton and I will speak as well, just to follow up with those things. So I just want to very much openly say, like, these things are being received and they are being followed up. And so to continue to reach out about things to celebrate and things that people have concern and question. So we'll follow up.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, we do have one item today under new business to bring forward, teacher pipeline. Mrs. Dunn, wanted to turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before I start, if I can just ask the members, as the flyers from the Peabody Promise Task Force come around, if you can take one, or however many you want, I will pick up the extras after, because I did promise to give those back to the Social Services Committee. And those are very nicely done. They're in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Thank you. Okay, this agenda item is something that I did start a little bit of work on, I believe it was last year, but I did want to bring more information to the committee and see if we can take some action. As you know, there is a nationwide problem with finding teachers. People do not want to go into that field. And it's understandable. In many states, the pay for teachers is just so poor they can't even pay back their student loans. It happens here in Massachusetts, too. Education is expensive to become a teacher. It's also a very difficult job, and teachers need to feel supported, and people going into that field need to feel supported. So I attended a meeting with some of the commissioners of the Department of Ed, and it was a really interesting meeting. It was specifically designed about trying to get diversity into the teacher pool and different programs that are being used for diversity of teachers as well as administrators. They talked about apprenticeship programs for new teachers and about concentrating on getting those programs into the gateway communities, which we are. They spoke of programs with the DESC to support this initiative, and going forward it's going to be expanded with pathways that will be provided to people who want to become a teacher and get licensed and get a degree. Now, here in Peabody, we're lucky because we have our CTE program for early childhood education, which is wonderful, and that's in line with the DESC plan on pathways and encouragement of careers in teaching. I do have a question. We have a program for early childhood with CTE. As we go forward and prepare to build and open a new high school, I would like to ask if we could explore expanding our offerings and having a CTE program for teaching. I know it would be different than the early childhood program, and I'd like to ask if we could please have that explored and really, truly look into that as a good program for our students. The third thing I'm going to bring forward is something I tried to do a couple of years ago, and it was too short of a time. And Dr. Vidala knows, signing day. We always see newspaper articles and photographs of our students when they sign with a college to play sports. I would like to see the same type of recognition for our students who commit to attend college to become a teacher. I would like to make sure that that is really highlighted so that our students are encouraged to know this is a very noble profession. It is something that we need. The key to everyone's future is education. And the problem right now is we do not have enough teachers to support the education that is needed in not just our community, but in the whole country. I think those students need to be recognized, and I would like to ask that we could have the high school do that, set a date, work with the guidance department to find out which students are planning to pursue a career in education and will be taking the appropriate college courses. Get some merch from those colleges. Have those banners and pennants to show behind the kids. Set up a nice ceremony. Invite their parents. And I would also like to be able to invite all of the teachers, not just at the high school, and it may have to just be the high school this year, but we are very fortunate to have graduates from PVMHS who went on to become teachers. Many of them, most of them, are long-term teachers. But we even have some students, recent graduates, who became teachers. And when you hear about who inspired them and why, it's always one of the teachers that worked with them, and quite often it is someone who was in those students' shoes and graduating from PVMHS. We have teachers like that throughout the district. And they too have encouraged children and students who can remember how much a teacher at the elementary level inspired them, and they followed that dream all the way up to senior year of high school. So I would like to make a big deal about the students in Peabody who plan to become teachers and let them know we're behind them and we're with them and we're going to encourage them and support them as they go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Thank you.
And I don't think we need a motion.
Yeah.
I'll ask Dr. Vidala and Ms. Randall to work on that. We did it before. It was a very quick thing put together, but it can be much bigger, and I think it's necessary right now. There's a lot of changes coming down the road for education. There always are, but there are some really big ones coming, and I think we really do need to strengthen the teacher forces. They are a force for good.
Thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Okay. Our next regular school committee meeting is set for Tuesday, March 24th, 2026, 7 p.m. right here in the Higgins Middle School Library. Any items for the agenda that you'd like to bring forward, please reach out to Dr. Vidala and I, at least by that Friday beforehand, as typical. And today was a good meeting, a lot of important information through the presentations and a number of discussion points that I think were very important. So appreciate everybody's time and effort during this meeting. And move to adjourn. Everybody's okay? All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.